Hi, if you've been watching some of the videos I've been posting lately, I've been talking about this subject of being a Chief Excitement Officer. And I was just listening actually to a conversation that was taking place at Stanford University, and the key discussion point for the whole panel was the whole issue of how do companies generate ideas. And of course, there's the startup side, there's also the side of how can we inspire and inject innovation within companies. And then when you look at the executive team and you take a look at the top executive careabouts for 2018, you'll find that most of them are thinking about digital transformation, what that will do for their business. They're also trying to think about how can we continue to build very strong teams, how to motivate them, how do we stay differentiated from other players in the marketplace, how do we continue to align our business, and how do we work across our typical silos, make sure that we are really crossing the aisles, crossing the boundaries, and really making sure that we're working across the organization. And as I reflect on all of these topics, I think the idea of really becoming a Chief Excitement Officer really solves most of these problems, if not all of them. The reason is, and I like to kind of point to this book that we published back in September 2017, Leslie and myself, about this whole idea of creating meaning for people in an organization. And one of the key executives that we spoke with, his name is Naidu Cubain. He is the president of High Point University. The one thing that actually resonated for me from this long conversation about how he was able to come into his alma mater university and really generate so much more goodness for the university in terms of the number of students, the number of donors, the money that's coming in the organization, the number of jobs that were created, the number of classes, programs. Incredible expansion for the organization happened primarily because this leader stepped in. And then the one thing he tells you that he did really well and he believes very strongly in is this whole idea of building capacity. And when I thought about it, it really comes down to, are you able to identify people within the organization that you can help develop? But much more importantly, in my mind, you have to give them a context for growing. And I do not think there's anything greater than you coming to them and telling them about this amazing future that the organization will be in. And you are actually able to motivate them, help them come together as a team. Remember those 2017 challenges? You can remember each one of those challenges, whether what you want is to make sure you have a top-notch team, you want to make sure they are motivated, you want to make sure that you achieve differentiation, alignment, working across boundaries. All of those challenges, in my mind, can be solved if the leadership team is able to develop a compelling vision for the future. And that vision is driven by their understanding of the marketplace, their understanding of where the customers' careabouts are going, not just now, not 6 months from now, but a year out, 2 years out. And then looking at digitization and other levers that you can use to develop the organization, then you come back and you talk about this widely amazing goal, right? You can call it a BHAG, or you can call it a WIG if you follow Stephen Covey. At the very end of the day, you really want to come back and be so God darn it excited about that future and talk to them about it and tell them, here's what's going to happen, here's what I see happening. And then we use the tension index that I talked with you about before. When we take that idea and we put it to the test, we go around the organization and tell them what that idea is. We tell them what that vision is, and we work with them day in and day out to really expand that idea into a much bigger, much more strategic idea that is going to solve many problems for the business, if that's what we're targeting. But much more excitingly, if we actually come up with ideas, not for existing problems, because that's a given. You're going to have to solve some of the existing problems, but much more exciting when you come to us with something that is 10 times better than where we are today, and we are able to work together, rally around you, bring the whole team together, right? It's almost like now we're standing around that campfire and you are able to tell us an amazing story about what that future looks like. And then all of a sudden we have this exciting future to look up to, and every one of us comes to work with that excitement because you've been able to paint a picture for each one of us to see where you're going, where you're taking us, what the meaning of it all is going to be for not just for us but also for our customers, and how we can see ourselves not only in the destination but also in the journey, in the activities and the projects and the initiatives that we will be participating in, so that we can drive a whole lot more connection across the white space in the organization and create a lot of value. Because that's the one thing that I believe sustains any organization, is how much value are you able to create, and how constantly are you able to think about how can we 10x that value and stay ahead of the customer care abouts, stay ahead of our employee care abouts, stay ahead of our partner care abouts, and really deliver a lot of value for the organization. So the question that could be on your mind, again, if you are a manager, a director, a VP, an executive who is thinking about how they can drive such energy in their organization, I think there are lots of options. One is you could already have an innovation program, and you need to coach the team that's working on that innovation program to really expand their horizon and think about how can we 10x each one of these ideas that we're thinking of. And that's where I come in and I coach these teams to really expand the thought process of validating the idea and seeing the idea in a much more strategic way. Or you could work with me and I can work with your team to actually inject a whole innovation program within the organization, so that you can actually tap into the power of that collective intelligence within the organization. The third option is to have me and my colleagues work with your leadership team to develop those inspiring visions, and much more importantly, be able to come and tell the right story to the rest of the organization, and tell it in a way that is so invigorating, that is so passionate, that is so exciting, to the point that everybody sees what that vision looks like, they see what that future looks like, and they can't wait to get there. Make sure we connect if any of those areas seem to be a good starting point for you. I look forward to speaking with you.